So we've been through the preliminary drills on how to cue diaphragmatic breathing, how to focus on distinguishing between a breath that obviously utilises the diaphragm and that kind of vertical breathing pattern. We've also done it in a position in which the spine is more or less deloaded, and then gradually progress to that upright position. We're now going to cue bracing, okay, diaphragmatic breathing in the upright position, and obviously translate it over to more of the lifts. You'll only actually need two, but it is beneficial if you've got all three. A weightlifting belt, a resistance band is always beneficial to have anyway, and then it's just a lifting strap, which you'll see in a moment. Now we're going to start with the weightlifting belt and the drills that surround this, okay? So first thing is obviously place the belt around your stomach. It's entirely up to you what position you place it in terms of if you have it low or high. As a general rule of thumb, I tend to say to go in the middle ground. If you go too high, it can compress your ribcage slightly, it becomes very uncomfortable, but I do know people that wear it up that high, so it's up to them obviously. The lifting strap, that is going to be the thing that gives us the what's known as environmental biofeedback and allows our body and our brain to kind of connect to this movement sequence. But before we do that, okay, you just tighten the belt up. It should be tight enough that you can still fit your hand down in the front of the belt, okay? I tend to wear my belt a little bit tighter than other people, but that's just down to personal preference. I can still fit my hand in that position. And that's because you'll need that room for your diaphragm and your abdominal wall to be able to expand again. All you're going to do here is nice and simple, just focus on pushing out against the belt as you breathe in. Okay, so nice and simple. And this is where the strap comes into play. Now, this is one of my favourite teaching tools for cueing people on how to brace effectively, because again, it gives you that little bit of stimulus and a little bit of a feedback mechanism from the body to the brain. So all you need to do is thread the lifting strap underneath the belt. Now, when we are doing any kind of bracing sequence, we want to focus on what's known as 360-degree expansion. So we're trying to push out all the way around the belt. It's always easier, or rather for most people it's easier, to push out at the front first before you go round to the obliques at the sides and particularly towards the erectors. So just focus on the front at first. Now, lock the belt in place and hold on to the strap, okay? All you're going to do is take a big breath into the belt, push out, okay? And you shouldn't be able to move this strap. So when I'm completely relaxed talking to you now, it's quite easy for that strap to loose, okay? There's no real issue there. However, if I use my bracing sequence effectively and focus on using my diaphragm as well as the abdominal wall, this strap won't move, okay? So from this position, all I'm going to do is take a big breath in, into my diaphragm, and push my abdominal wall out against the belt to trap this in place. So all I'm going to do is requires obviously significantly more effort and doesn't come as loose as it does when I do that. Again, all you need to do is just thread this round to different points. I use this a lot with my one-to-one clients in terms of how to cue them pretty much, and they get it pretty much immediately because it does give you that feedback. Again, we're now off to one side, so focusing on pushing out with the obliques as well. Same thing, tighten up, breathe into my diaphragm, and try and pull the strap loose whilst trying to keep it trapped in place with my abdomen, okay? Now, the next step going forward is to distinguish the difference between utilising the brace on the foundation of a breath and then the foundation of the abdominal wall itself, okay? You've got to remember the rule, which is breath first, muscle second, breath second, muscle first, okay? We use the breath first to cue and to learn the bracing pattern, because this fundamentally is an involuntary reflex. Everyone's got to breathe. So it's much easier for people to identify the difference there. You obviously use the muscular capacity of the abdominal wall to top up, and then we do the opposite. So we utilise the breath to top up the brace that's created by the abdominal wall. You do the exact same drill, okay? So all you do is just thread the lifting strap into the belt itself, okay? Lock everything in place, and then this time you're going to fully exhale first, okay? So empty your lungs of air, drive your abdominal wall out, and then try and pull the strap free. So from this position, I'm going to take a big breath in, push out with the belt, try and get the strap free, and try and keep it in place with the abdominal wall, okay? And again, once I've completely relaxed, it'll come free. So nice and easy. but incredibly effective. A resistance band actually brings its own kind of benefit to the party that the belt doesn't have because of the elasticity component. I find that with a lot of people, particularly people that are a bit too weak to actually push out against the belt itself, this can actually be used as a graded exercise like you would do with most resistance bands. You can start really, really light. So if I've ever worked with people that are hyper frail or anything like that, or even a lot of lifters that are coming off the back of injury, it's the same idea, okay? But obviously we can start at a lower end in the intensity spectrum. So what you do, take the belt, take the resistance band round your stomach, okay? Again, around the midpoint in between the ribs and the hips. The closer you hold the band, okay, you're going to bring it round and place your hands on your hips. The tighter you pull it, the harder it's going to be, but obviously the more feedback you're going to get. From this position, we follow the exact same sequence. So breath first, push out against the band, hold for a couple of seconds, and then relax. Okay, breath first, and relax. Going on from there, we try and use the abdominal wall on its own without the bracing sequence, without the diaphragmatic breath. And that's it. So from that position there, all you would do going forward, and what I would recommend, I'm not going to show it on the video, but what I would recommend there before we integrate it into a lift, okay, as part of the warm-up is to utilize the bracing sequence in a loaded carry of some kind. Okay, it provides locomotion, and as we talked about in the mechanics of the unstable movements video, our primary form of locomotion is walking. So if you can coordinate a new skill or a new aspect of building tension into that movement, it becomes much easier to coordinate it into other ones. So nice and simple as part of your warm-up sequence in the gym, stick a belt on, focus on bracing into your abs. Once you've got that sequence where you can keep the strap held in place, dumbbell in each hand, brace against the belt, and as you walk up and down, performing a light set of farmer's walks, imagine trying to snap the belt off the whole time. Okay, it's just a really easy way of sequencing it and then allowing it to transfer over to the deadlifts, the squats, and some of the more static lifts that you'll do where bracing is a key component of the movement.